everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Laurabel, and we have a fun lineup for you today. We're going to be joined by rapper and writer Albert Dalton, and then following that, we're going to skip ahead into the summer season, and we're going to be joined by Probably Special with Tia Marie. So sit back, relax, and maybe get out a notebook. And we'll see you all in just a second. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by the one, the only, Albert Dalton, who is a rapper and musician. Albert, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to have you here because I've had the chance to go creeping through your socials to figure out what you've been up to. But I want to give our viewers a chance to get the chance to know who you are, the man behind the music a little bit. Yeah. So how did Albert become the man behind the music?
I always like to joke that my brother gave me an Eminem CD when I was 8 and ruined my life, but obviously it didn't ruin it, it changed it for the better. But that's really where it came from. My brothers were huge in the hip hop scene in Toronto. They're from Kitchener originally, and they lived up there, and they were doing break dancing. My brother's huge into the break dancing scene. I have another brother who was kind of worked as a friend manager for one of his buddies who was a musician at the time. So once I got to I think I was 7, 8 years old, they immediately started to be you got to listen to this song, you got to listen to this person, and that's really where it came from, you know. My brothers John and Ben were a huge inspiration, personally, for that kind of thing.
Okay, so they're giving you the CDs, you're taking this all in. At what point did the little thing in your brain go I can do this?
I started writing raps in the 6th grade. They were terrible. Beyond terrible, but they were raps, and I tried really hard. I even, I like to pretend this didn't happen, but when I was young, I think I was 11, I entered a competition and flew to San Francisco for a hip hop thing.
That my goodness.
So I've loved it for a long time. I stopped taking it serious because, you're a child, someone makes fun of you, and all of a sudden you don't have an interest anymore.
Yeah.
And then it really, I think I was 16, and I met my current producer, Cat Cafe, real name Liam. He's in bands like Swimming and stuff like that around town. And he basically looked at me and was well, I have all the equipment, just come over and record. And I was well, I can't do that, I can't do this. And every time I came over there, he'd shove a microphone in front of me, and that's where it all came from.
So we're going to take a little trip back to the trip you said that didn't happen, but absolutely did. 11, San Francisco. How did you find it, and how did the competition go?
It was awesome, and the people who were there were great. There's some of them that I still definitely follow musically. I personally was into a lot of music that I now wouldn't appreciate. And so there's a lot of me personally as a rapper that you hear guys like Eminem or guys like Tech Nine say something, and you want to be like them, and then you start rapping about things that aren't real and aren't you know? And that was kind of another reason that I gave up. I believed that I couldn't rap without having the same experiences as somebody like that, as Snoop Dogg and Eminem, a Dre, NWA, right? But I realized that you don't got to write music about what everyone else writes music about, you know? It's, all right. And that's kind of where that comes from.
So when you write now, what are your influences? What bleeds into your stories?
It's very much personal influences, even if they're not my own. I'm good at being able to hear somebody say something, internalize it, and turn that into something, you know? I definitely influenced a lot by my daughter. She's young but old enough now that I hear her say things or do things, and I'm I don't know what she's talking about, but if that's popular with kids, then I got to realize what she's talking about, you know?
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of that happening now. And then, you know, there's obviously musicians, Mac Miller, Travis Scott, Kanye, for better or for worse.
We'll let Kanye be Kanye.
Yeah. But, and, you know, there's everything inspires me, really. I'm about to go on tour. I find that tours are really inspiring for me. Like playing, that's my favorite part about all this, is playing live, you know?
Yeah.
And I find that very inspiring, for sure. Yeah.
So you've been on tour.
Yes, yeah.
If you look back in your memory bank and think, were there any moments, so like, when I think of people on tour, I do think of like the Eminem, his 8 Mile moment where he stands there, vomit on his sweater, mom's spaghetti moment. Yeah. What would you say were your moments like that?
Like playing for the ECMAs is awesome because, you know, like you feel like somebody's looking at you and like appreciating it, you know, because where it's like an association of like other musicians in town, and especially I find that this province, God love them, they don't really appreciate hip hop the same way that other Atlantic provinces do. Yeah. So being appreciated on East Coast as a whole was really nice. Nice. Another thing that I wasn't on tour when it happened, but I played in St. Pierre recently. Okay. And they haul you out into the dunes of Miquelon, like Langlade, way out into the boons. It was like almost an hour drive. Oh goodness. 5,000 plus people show up. They set a boat on fire. It's awesome. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. It's called Dune Fest. Okay. And it's one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of, for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, one, clearly I now need to go to Dune Fest.
Everybody does, for sure, yeah.
We'll add this to my bucket list. But we're going to talk about a little bit about what it's been like exploring the whole hip-hop rap genre while being located in Newfoundland and Labrador, because people don't typically think rappers come from this province.
No, and like, you know, there's a large history of hip-hop from here. Like, in the 90s, I remember when I was at the ECMAs, one of the guys that I played with mentioned to me that there was a producer out of here in like the mid to early 90s. And that is what I can tell is like the first thing to come out of here hip-hop wise. Okay. But you get a lot of like, I endearingly call it skeet rap. Yeah. You know, you get a lot of people who are from where I am from, which is like, you know, lower middle class, and they like to rap about more than what they've seen. Yeah. So there's definitely a problem in this province in hip hop of like you know, a fake facade that's being put on. But then there's also people like Dope Piece was awesome and is awesome still, when like he's been making music for a long time now. Reggie Morales, Winnie Churchill. There's like some newer people like Logan Bolt, Juno, Dante Miracle. There's a lot of like new music and older hip hop music in the province that is really good. But I find that the rappers that are good have already decided that the music scene isn't for them. Okay. So there's not a lot of cross, like when I go to Music NL and I mention these guys, some of the Music NL people don't really know who I'm talking about sometimes, because these guys have predetermined like, I'm good. And for good reason, you know, like not very many people here exactly understand hip hop. Yeah. You know? Absolutely. Yeah.
So you've seen that, but you've persisted still. Yeah. What has been your moment as you've gone through this journey and being like, Newfoundland and Labrador does have a hip hop scene and part of it, it's a reality. What has been your moment that's been like, yeah, even if other people don't acknowledge it, I'm willing to ride this?
The fact that more and more has came out of, again, I keep using the phrase skeet rap, and not a lot of people like that. But for me personally, like, having somebody rap in their Newfie accent, like there's a guy, Will Pike now, who's doing basically just that, you know, like having songs called I Don't F With Boys, or like What He At, you know, like, and seeing that, and I've done that myself, but it's not my primary thing. I don't have like the thickest accent, you know. But seeing things like that has really made me realize that Newfoundland has a version of hip hop that nobody else can. Okay. Really, you know.
That's so cool. So as you dream into the future and thinking, where is Albert Dalton going to find himself next? What are your dreams for that?
I want to be able to play across Canada. Canada's my main goal. A lot of people who make, especially who make like popular music in general, aren't really looking to stay in Canada. They're looking to, you know, like broaden, whether it be in Europe or it be in United States. I would like to be known in Canada, you know, like there are certain Canadian acts who are known across, like from one end to the other, and that's more what I want than to, you know, leave or anything like that. I enjoy Canada and I enjoy being here. I enjoy playing in Newfoundland to people who don't get it. I think it's fun, you know? Yeah, and that's really my thing right now is I want to make myself bigger as a Canadian artist. I want to be more Cardinal official than Drake, you know?
I can rock with that
Yeah.
for you. So for those who are watching now who are saying, I write quietly alone, no one really knows, what would you let them know for the younger Alberts in the audience?
At the very basis of it, if you are that worried about what you're doing, record it, put it out, don't tell nobody about it. Eventually someone will hear it and they'll either tell you you're really bad or they'll tell you you're really good. And I've had both happen and I kept going either way. Yeah. And I didn't tell anybody about it when I was young, when I was 11. I was still using the same name, but like nobody, like people would find my YouTube channel and it would be like the talk of school because nobody knew that I was doing this, you know? And that, sometimes that's what you got to do to get good, is to just record it, put it on the internet, and hope somebody finds it and gives you good advice and not bad advice.
So, Albert, where do we find you now?
All social media, all streaming platforms. Albert, if you search Albert Dalton, I come up. AlbertDalton.com is my website where you can find most of my things. I'm also have a bunch of music videos on YouTube. I'm everywhere online.
Albert, thank you so much for chatting with me. I can't wait to check out your videos soon, and it's been a pleasure.
Awesome, thank you so much for having me.
And we'll be right back, everyone.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by the one and only Tia Marie of Probably Special. Tia, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm really excited to have you here because you and I got to connect at a Nuggets and Knowledge moment. And so I fell in love with everything your company does and the way you approach people. But for viewers who might not know what Probably Special is, what is it and how did you start?
Thank you so much. Well, Probably Special is a sustainable swim and activewear line. So I started about 2 years ago when I returned to St. John's, Newfoundland. So I moved back here. And I found that there was a gap in the market for being able to find clothing that fit. And so I decided to design my own line. So I started with leggings and crop and swim and expanded from there. Okay. So all of the products are designed using recycled materials and vegan dyes.
Okay, see, when I found you and you and I got to connect, I didn't even know about that cool aspect of your business. So that's so awesome to see. And yeah, when we think about the clothing industry, it's very fast fashion, everything goes to waste. So having something that's sustainable, that is also so beautifully made, is amazing. So for 2 years you've existed in this market. What has been for you like your favorite part about putting this together?
Really being able to connect with other women. So I started this for my own need, and then I realized that there was such a demand in the market for swimwear, especially for anyone above a size small or medium. So I decided to create a line of inclusive swimwear ranging from size 2X small to 8XL.
You're amazing. And that is when we think about the way the fashion industry typically works, and an extra large, you can't find anything that's cute and functional. And if it's functional, it's not cute. And if it's cute, it's definitely not sustainable. So you're definitely hitting a niche market in the things you offer. But you don't just do swimwear, you expanded into corporate wear as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so I decided that I created this custom look for myself and decided to expand it to a customer line. But I also realized that for women entrepreneurs, there's really a need to have a curated professional look. So not only can you get the B2C line, which is available online. We can create a customized look for any entrepreneur, either with your logo or with a personalized look that suits your brand.
So we're gonna have to have chat. But that's so cool to see. So as you've been doing this work, we know it's summer. Well, knock on wood, it's summer. And so swimsuits are the thing that people are beginning to shop for, they're beginning to look for. But as someone who has struggled to sometimes find a swimsuit that fits, the thought of going into a dressing room, picking out 7 to 8 different things and hoping they fit, and sometimes leaving dejected because nothing fits your body the way you want to. It's either too tight here or too loose there. You came up with a way to support women and make this a less scary adventure as we try to find things that work for us. So what's that been like?
Yeah, so we're using technology to get custom fitting. So instead of having to go into a dimly lit fitting room and try on a bunch of clothes and not having things fit, from the comfort of your own home, you can do a custom fitting using your smartphone.
Okay, how does that work?
So basically, I'll set up a link for you, and using your phone, you can set it on the table or a dresser, and it'll take a front scan and a side scan, and it will get precision measurements of your entire body.
Okay, and then we can get our swimwear to fit?
Then from there, we can select a custom selection for you and for your body type that will best suit you.
Okay, so we're taking notes right now because I know there must be a bunch of women and gender diverse individuals who have that dreaded fear of, I'm not gonna find something that works for my body, and then I'm not going to be comfortable, and then I'm going to spend the whole summer hiding versus out frolicking in the water or working on my tan or just enjoying being outdoors. So knowing that you have a solution out there that, one, I can do from the comfort of my home if accessibility needs or something that I'm struggling with, or if I'm not in St. John's, I can still get something that works for me.
Exactly, yeah. So we're available across the country. And you have a copy of our catalog there.
I do, with such amazing, like, the colors in this, if nothing else, are the things that absolutely have me, from the florals, which match the florals you're wearing, and you have coverage of every variety. So I know you brought, well, you have a few of your pieces here, but I wanted to take a look at your one piece for a second, if you don't mind.
Sure. So this is our one piece. So we're doing a plus size exclusive line, and this is one of them from it. And what's really nice about this is that it accentuates basically any body type. So you have the waistband here, which will draw in for more of a straight figure, but also accentuate those more curvy figures. With the adjustable straps, you can get the perfect fitted look. All of our suits are double lined, which is something that you're not finding in the industry right now, that they're very thin.
Absolutely.
So from that, you're going to get more durability, no see-through bums, and
Very
full
important.
coverage.
We've all been there where we buy a suit, we think it works, you step out into the light and you're like, this obviously can never see the light of day ever again. So this is fantastic to know that there's something for everyone in every size. So as a female entrepreneur yourself who's been working in an industry that hasn't always celebrated the body types, what have you found when you're working with customers and they finally get to see you?
It's a very emotional experience. I actually didn't realize how emotional it would be starting a swimwear line. But I think the fashion industry has really made it uncomfortable for women who are not of a certain body type to feel comfortable in clothing. And so really working to embrace our bodies and be confident in ourselves as we are. So one of the things that I've just done is I worked with a modeling agency, a plus size modeling agency, on a partnership. So we gifted some up and coming plus size models swimsuits.
Oh my, congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So when you're designing for you, I love the fact that you have bold and bright colors. Usually people tend to stay away from that when you're designing for curvier plus size and even some really straight sizing. So why did you go away from that when you were doing yours?
Well, each of the prints are taken from photography from natural flowers here in the island.
Okay.
So they are embracing our natural environment. And I really wanted to go with big, bold colors because I find that women, and a lot of women's fashion is trying to pull women back. Whereas, you know, we really want to embrace our femininity and make our presence known.
Okay. So you guys don't just carry swimwear, corporate wear. You also have these, I'm just saying, absolutely amazing smelling products. So can you walk me through why these became part of what you offer, Probably Special?
So I sort of wanted to create a line that women could take with them whenever they travel. You know, as a woman, as a female entrepreneur, you have a lot of conferences, a lot of activities, a lot of speaking engagements that you're always invited to, a lot of travel. And the biggest challenge we always face is, what am I going to wear? Let's be honest.
Yes.
So what I wanted to do was make a simple collection so that any woman entrepreneur could grab her pieces and go on her way. So all of these little skin and hair care products are the perfect size for travel.
Okay.
So you can grab a set, put it in your bag, and you've got your face wash, your face oil, your hair oil, and your skin care.
You've got it all. Literally, you're a one-stop shop, from clothes that make us feel good when we wear them, swimwear that we can feel comfortable in and still feel beautiful while still feeling covered where we want to be covered and not have those see-through oopsie moments, and then the perfect skincare line for traveling that's still all natural.
Yes.
Okay, so for our viewers watching who are now basically writing their shopping list as they're prepping for the summer, where do we find you?
So we're available online. I'm also doing bikini fitting parties.
Okay.
So we had one in March. This was an event for women to come in and do the virtual fitting. We had our Prosecco and our delectables, and everyone got their own personalized fitting and were able to then shop from the collection. So I will be doing more of these events.
Okay.
I'm also on the hunt for a retail spot, so that should be coming up.
Okay.
And of course, online and through the catalog. So if anyone wants a catalog, they can contact and I can send them one directly and they can order from there.
Okay. Because I only got you for like 2 more minutes, if there was one thing you wanted people to know as they turn off the episode today and they go back into the world, what's the one piece you want them to know about what Probably Special is and why you do this work?
It's about supporting women to thrive. I believe that every woman can achieve peak performance and look great doing so. So I wanted to create the perfect line for every woman to feel comfortable and confident.
Okay, and so one last now fashion question for you. Of your patterns, is the one you're currently wearing one of your favorites?
I would think so. I think each pattern has a different meaning. So this is Busy Lizzie.
Okay.
And this is the one that I wear when I'm in more of a fun mood.
Okay.
So if I'm in my training mode, I like to wear my lupins.
Okay.
If I'm pitching, I wear my Beauty of Ingenuity.
Okay.
So each one has a little bit of a different symbolism.
Tia, it's been amazing to chat with you, to get to know you, and to see the way you're filling a gap in the fashion industry so that all women and gender diverse individuals can show up in your space and walk out feeling their most beautiful self. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back, everyone. I want to give a very special thank you to all of you for tuning in yet again. I always love sharing time with you. A thank you to Albert for showing us that hip-hop culture is alive and well within our province. And thank you for Tia Marie for showing the innovative way that she can help get us fitted for the swimsuit season and showing us that fashion can still be sustainable while looking good. I can't wait to see you all again next time, and I'll catch you out of the fog.
My name is Marina Palmer. I grew up in Portiswell and I'm still living in Portiswell. Came from a very large family. We had to cook to help our mother out. She had that many children, so we were taught pretty young. Every one of us can cook. I'd say fairly good. I grew up, we had to take turns making our special cake for the weekend. Each one's sisters, one did a light one did a chocolate one, and then we did molasses, what they call the old-fashioned molasses cake, or like a gingerbread. We learned the old way that they used to cook. Meat wasn't easy to come by back in them days, so there was no fridges, no electricity. The vegetables mainly came from our garden. Fish would have came from Port Swat. You go to the fishermen. I use my own olive oil. Now I'm going to do a recipe that came back from great-grandmother from Quebec City. I'll keep stirring this now until it's brown, really brown. You brown your little bit of flour and make it nice and tasty. It was fish, you know, and a potato and onions into it. I want enough of liquid to cook the fish, but I don't want too much. It was good. And we enjoyed it. Really did. My mom used to cook a master-sized pot. The recipe did come from Quebec. That's where my grandparents on my dad's side came from. My mom's side, my grandfather came right from France. At the age probably 14, 15, he decided he was going to get off the boat, so he jumped ship and took the boat and rowed ashore into it and hid away under a pile of lumber. And the man that owned the land, he came out that morning, saw the men coming off the boat. He knew they were looking for someone. And he was hid away on his pile of lumber in the yard. So he took them in and gave them tea. And then he took them, showed them where to go, where no one wouldn't find them. Down in Eddie's Cove, there wasn't very many people, probably 3 or 4 families at that particular time. So they took him in, and that's where he met my grandmother too, and he married her. It's just something when you decide you want some fish, you want fish stew or fried fish or whatever, you know, you just cook it up for a meal. It's always made the same way that my mom used to make it and taught us to make it. It was a recipe that we grew up loving.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
It's been a long time coming. You don't win it to keep it, you win it to be a part of its history. Always hard to see the difference between winning and losing.